I mean, how do a child just?
I do too.
We're talking about the same.
That's right. Not sure y'all will go all week. All right, it's 6 o'clock. We'll get started with our monthly meeting. And we'll have a call to order. And Mike, if you do the pledge, and Robert, if you would do the prayer, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing about. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to this evening, Lord, so thank you for this blessed day that you've given us. Thank you for our health. Father, we pray for those that are suffering with different illnesses and can't be with us tonight. Father, we lift them up to you and we ask that you heal their bodies. Tonight, as we discuss the agenda items here in front of us tonight, Father, I just ask you give the commissioners wisdom, guide their decisions. There's benefit the city of Mount Pleasant and all its residents. Give you thanks and praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, gentlemen. Roll call, please, ma'am.
Bill White,
Here.
Jacqueline Granberry, here. Mike Davis,
Here.
Eric Harvey,
Here.
and Willie Iverson. Here. All present.
Thank you.
So Eric Harvey is by Zoom.
Great. Number 4, approval and correction of minutes from our prior meetings. We have a set from the study session on the 16th and our meeting on the 21st. Once you've had a chance to review, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I wasn't here, but after reading it, I'll make the motion to accept.
All right.
Accept the study session and the
Regular meeting.
regular meeting.
Thank you, sir. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
We got a number of seconds. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Awards and presentations, mayor's appointments, and we'll move through these as quickly as we can, but we got several beer board, and who would those 3 be?
And we need to do them each individually. So that's
Okay.
Mr. Workman, Mr. Bryson, and Mr. Hines, and they've all agreed to continue on. It's a 1-year appointment, so every January we have to reappoint.
All right. Any questions on those members? Being none, entertain a motion.
Here, I'll make a motion to approve the beer board.
Got a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Got a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Communication Committee.
Everybody that's on the committee has agreed to serve again, and I told Teresa we need to get started on maybe end of February, March meeting. Just, COVID kind of kept us from meeting, but if you just want to replace everybody with the existing board, and it is also a 1-year appointment.
Correct. All right. Any questions about that group? Pretty good group. Hearing none, entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept the communication committee.
Have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Historic Zoning Commission.
Mr. Donald Dodson and Miss Lindsay Barrier, their terms were expiring, and they're both willing to continue to serve.
Good deal.
See fit.
Good deal. All right. Any questions about that group? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept the historical zoning committee.
We have a second.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Recreation Commission.
Cedric Hollis is due to go off, but has agreed to continue to serve. And
Good.
then Lindsay Howe has resigned from the board with her son in the bass team. She just feels like she can't ever be here, and I totally understand that. And that's a hard decision for her. But the Recreation Commission has recommended to the mayor, Donna Stevenson.
We talked about this, and Miss Whitley, you're on that committee, and you spoke highly of her.
Yeah, she'll be a good one. I think she'll be able to help us out a lot.
She'll work.
Yeah, she'll work.
I know she lives in Mount Pleasant. I don't know where, but
Adams.
Adam.
oh, okay.
Do other people, Mayor, I guess, for some of these boards, do they, I guess, request about them or anything, or just Which I mean, I realize, don't misunderstand me.
No, you're talking
It's your
about
appointment.
coming and asking to
Yes.
serve.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know, Mike, I've reached out to some people asking them what they might even enjoy doing. Trying to
Okay.
get some more people, you know, because if we have more than one name,
Bill.
you know,
I just,
it's great. Yeah, if we could get more than one name for some of these.
okay, I just wondering.
Well, like Donna, I asked her, would she be part of it? So,
Oh, I mean, I know,
Yeah.
I don't know her personally, but I mean, I know
Yeah.
her family, so,
Yeah.
you know. But I was just wondering if other people
Yeah, it's,
requested.
so I asked Sarah, would she agree?
Oh, okay.
So,
Laura Baker has said that she had wanted to be, but she never hear back from anybody.
Who's that?
Laurie Baker.
who did she tell she want to be on it?
I don't know. I'm just passing that on.
Mayor, maybe you can write that name down.
yeah, absolutely, because I've not
Who
heard
knows
anything.
why?
Yes, Milton.
Is that specifically for recreation or any kind of a board?
She said any kind of a board, but she works with kids.
Yeah, she does. I know her.
Yeah, I do, but
Great lady.
I didn't know she.
And
was
I
on the
asked her,
board.
as a matter of fact, I asked her at the music if she had any interest to contact me, and I've never heard a word from her. So,
You tell me
because
she had
I value
contacted
what
you.
she's got to say. She and Milton are a big part of our community. So encourage her.
She told me she wanted to be, and I told her I would bring it up to let them know again at this meeting, since she said she had mentioned it. So I told her I would mention it again at the meeting today.
Good. All right, we have Donna Stevens is nominated to go on the Recreation Committee. I'll
You need a motion.
entertain a motion. I'm trying to get ahead of myself.
I'll make a motion to accept Donna on the Recreation Commission.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Okay.
You got a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, that takes care of that. Number 6, unfinished business, ordinance 2021-1086. This is a public hearing and a final reading. An ordinance amending Title 18, Chapter 1 of the Municipal Code relating to water and sewer system administration.
And Mayor and Commissioners, this is what we refer to as a letter of availability. So if a developer wants to build something beyond a single-family home, we will tell them what utility services are available. And the other thing that's important to note that Keith pointed out to me today that's definitely true is if because they want to make a development, upgrades to our system are necessary, that cost falls to them. That's kind of the whole purpose behind this as well. So this is something that most other cities are doing, not taking on that expense to do that.
Was the application included in the packet?
Let's see. Exhibit A, it just has a feasibility application fee. I mean, the actual application or the letter you're talking about?
So section 1 says feasibility application fee in the form attached here to is Exhibit A, and that is being adopted.
And that's on the second page there.
Okay.
Unless you're gonna do it differently.
So we do have Exhibit A. That's what I was asking.
Yeah, it's on page 2.
Okay. I just don't have it on mine.
It's there.
Okay.
All right, this is a public hearing. Anyone here care to speak?
Later on.
Yeah, I know why y'all are here. Okay. Please let the minutes show no one cared to speak regarding this particular subject. That being said, entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we pass ordinance 2021-1086.
All righty, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
Got a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. B, ordinance 2021-1087. Again, this is a public hearing and the final reading. An ordinance to amend ordinance 2021-1075. Said ordinance appropriating the revenues and expenses from the of operating and maintaining the departmental functions of the city of Mount Pleasant, Tennessee for the year beginning July the 1st, 2021 and ending June 30th, 2022.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is our budget amendment, final reading on this, and you all had a bullet point list in front of you last study session, and the only thing that Loretta has added to the one you have now at the very bottom is Easter egg hunt. We're going to be working between the chamber, probably Main Street and us to get funds reimbursed for what we spend to put on the Easter egg hunt.
That was huge this past year.
Mhm.
Huge. All right.
That's right. Nothing else was added, right? I think that's all you added today.
Yeah, that's all I have today. So I finished it.
Just for the folks that are attending, the total winds up being a pretty large sum overall, but please understand that $223,000 of this is replacing the culvert on Locust Street. That was unexpected, and they're doing a good job. I've tried to go by periodically, and it's just one of those things that comes up that you just don't have any choice of. So, but that is the largest one piece of it. So just for your information.
The other large things are the depreciation.
Depreciation, which is really not, we're not rubbing that between our fingers.
Doesn't affect the cash.
Doesn't affect the cash.
Yeah.
Can't rub it between your fingers. So that being a public hearing, anyone here care to speak? Please let the minutes reflect no one cared to. That being said, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept ordinance 2021-1087. Do I need to do the next one too?
No, please. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. C, ordinance 2021-1088. Again, this is a public hearing and the final reading. An ordinance to convert Conway Street and Gray Street into one-way streets in the city of Mount Pleasant, Tennessee, and described more accurately within the body of this ordinance.
And Mayor and Commissioners, as you know, we reached out to MTS for their engineer to give us his professional opinion. And he has recommended this, and this also has gone through the planning commission, and they recommended it, and the police department has also recommended it. You would enter, the change would be you would enter Conway and you would exit Gray. That would be the route you would take. And I know we've already communicated with the citizens on those roads, and we will, once this passes, to say this is the next step.
Okay.
Very narrow roads.
Mm-hmm.
As I've said in the couple of hearings we've already had on it, if there's any that need it, it appears to me this needs it.
Mhm.
Particularly if you want to get a fire truck through there. I'm not sure you could.
Now,
This is a public hearing. Anyone here care to speak?
Yeah, that's right. They have water.
Please let the minutes reflect no one cared to speak. Entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept ordinance 2021-1088.
Have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll make a motion, we second it.
All right, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. D, ordinance 2021-1089. Again, a public hearing and the final reading. An ordinance repealing and replacing Title 14 Zoning and Land Use Control, Chapter 2 of the zoning ordinance of the Mount Pleasant Municipal Code.
and Mayor and Commissioners, this has also been through the Planning Commission and recommended to you. This is where any area within our city zoning ordinances, neighborhood commercial, we would allow single family and duplex, two family. Somebody asked me if that would allow businesses along our downtown corridor to be single-family homes or duplexes, and there's a separate designation between neighborhood commercial and downtown, so it wouldn't allow that. And actually, the downtown starts right at the post office coming this way. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy
You
to.
said it would not?
would not in the downtown, it would in the neighborhood commercial, which is on the other side, the Breckenridge House, the first one that came to the planning commission. It would include that, but anything coming this way, part of the downtown, like just storefronts, it would not, because it's only in neighborhood commercial.
But they have
What about on
residences.
Glass?
Is that still downtown?
What's that?
The Glass Street right here?
It's still downtown.
Yeah, that's the specific one I asked about.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
So the one on, the guy that came from here, what was it, a year ago, 2 years
Yeah.
ago, I forget. He wanted, put a resident there.
upstairs.
The one that's the
Upstairs.
dance studio now?
Yeah, yeah.
There is no upstairs to that building, and the only
But
residential.
that's what I'm saying, though. Anybody on Glass Street cannot have residential.
Where does the downtown district stop on Glass Street? Maybe that's the best way to answer that question.
There's
Scotch
a,
Bond.
I believe you got one that's right on the corner that faces Glass.
Yeah, we do have a house
Yeah.
right on the corner facing Glass.
But it's already a house,
It's already a house.
yeah, so it's non-conforming use.
Non-conforming use. but it's
Non-conforming.
just-
Answer for everything.
Okay.
All right, anybody care to speak on this? Please let the minutes reflect no one did. Any other discussion on this?
Yeah, but the only, I guess, I've got on this, is this here relating to, I guess, Mr. Barrier's property on North Main?
Yeah, that's the Breckenridge, the whatever.
Okay.
That's
And
the
then the
first
one
one.
to the, next to it also came in for rezone and was denied.
But he,
Old Mac Brown's building.
but
No,
they-
no, no, the next one is the tax place,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then
Randall
Glass.
Sprouse.
But I mean, they can have, residential now.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes,
If you approve this.
Yeah.
I thought he should have added in the beginning, but that's just me.
well, we said when, you've heard, Vice Mayor Granberry and I talked, we said when we did this, we would make some mistakes, and this is one we recognize, so,
Okay, I'm good.
good.
I
With
make a
that,
motion that we pass ordinance 2021 through 1089.
yeah, 9.
89.
I'm looking at my check, Ms. Granberry.
Isn't it, huh?
I'm looking at the wrong check I've got on my list. I check off as we go through.
Is it not 1089?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think somebody clean my
He's looking at his
glass. Okay.
checkbook.
Yeah, yeah. With that being said, do we have a second?
Yes, I did.
You
All
got
right.
Mike, Mr. Davis.
All right, good. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. E, ordinance 2021-1090, public hearing and a final reading, an ordinance amending the City of Mount Pleasant, Tennessee Flood Plan Management Plan.
And Mayor and Commissioners, I think we explained to you in the past that this was like an audit that the state performed. They haven't, the first time they've performed this type of an audit in the 5 years that I know of. And these are recommended changes to language in the ordinance. Or do you want to speak to that anymore?
We are asking you to approve the whole floodplain section of the ordinance, section of the zoning ordinance. The one that came for first reading just had isolated the parts that we were changing, or 4 of the parts that we were changing. But we have had the state look at the one that y'all have, and they approved it as a total new floodplain ordinance. So we think that's the best way.
Okay,
And that's after you've talked to the state.
And it's
Good.
gone through the planning commission. What you had before you is what went through the planning commission.
right. Okay. Anyone here care to speak? Please let the minutes reflect no one did. Entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept ordinance 2021-1090.
Have a motion. Do we have a second? Got a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And that's the flood maps are going to change. It's coming in a big way. I'm
Probably
told.
should.
It needs to.
Mhm.
It's already happened in Nashville
Mhm.
and it's coming south.
Mhm.
And it probably should. As well as west. Look at Waverly. All right, that's all of our ordinance monthly report from the mayor. I've got two events that people should be aware of. One of them is Thursday, and that is to have Leadership Murray is going to be in Mount Pleasant for the day. And I think we have, who's entertaining? You're in the group this year? Great, fantastic. Who's
They start
You
at the
and-
fire hall at 8 in the morning
okay?
for
Good.
breakfast, and then they're doing a few things in Mount Pleasant, and then they're coming to lunch at the grill. But I hadn't heard from Carol what she wants us to talk about, and
I hadn't either.
whatever it is, we'll figure it out.
We'll wing it. So if you get a chance, I'm sure they'd be more than happy to have you for lunch.
Oh yeah, I think 11:30.
Yeah, at the grill.
Yeah, who else from the city is in it this year? Anybody else? Just you?
Yeah.
We had somebody leave. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're
Okay.
a star student.
Do what, Eric?
Come by the schools, Leadership Mary.
What's the high
I
school?
know they have in the
I
past.
think the high school for sure.
I know we sent an email to Dr. Jackson. We haven't heard nothing back from him yet.
Okay.
You should go to the school and the industry maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they're going to the museum over here too,
Okay.
Mr. Green's.
and they're going to the gallery, art gallery.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, the greens.
And then on the 26th, with the combination of the Mount Pleasant Chamber and the Murray County Chamber now working together, they're having a mixer here the 26th, I think, which is a Wednesday afternoon at 5:30, and it'll be at the grill as well. It's for all existing members of the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce, which are now being grandfathered into the Murray County Chamber, but it's also for potential and prospective members,
And of course, the city is a member of the Murray
County.
County. Yeah.
So I would encourage you that it's nice to see them with the merging of the two. It's nice to see them coming down here and spending some time.
5:30 on the 26th. And I usually get an itinerary for the day, like this Thursday. If I get it, I'll email it to you. I haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah. I've not seen it either. I thought I might try to touch base with Kara probably tomorrow morning. All right. I have nothing else. Monthly financial budget report.
Emailed those to you just before the meeting. I apologize for the lateness, but due to the overbilling issue we had, it is like trying to,
It's been busy.
it's been busy, yeah. Anyway, we were trying to get that together and want to make sure that you got an accurate report. I did want to report to you that like we mentioned Thursday, that the corrected bills did go out, and we're starting to get them back in. So I know people over the weekend received those corrected bills. Now that only affected the gas. If you had a bill that just had water, sewer, sanitation, you did not get a corrected one because there's nothing wrong with the first one.
Right.
It only affected the gas customers. And that total adjustment was made. And of course, when local government, they made it the wrong month. So I've had to go back and reclassify that. That total amount, 236,000 in total. So it was doubled our bill, what our bill should have been. So that was quite an undertaking in getting that corrected. And it took it was a team effort. Everybody here helped. There was one day that everybody was making phone calls. Just about everybody in this building was making a phone call.
I
To let people
appreciate it.
know.
Accidents happen.
Accidents have, and I got more positive from the phone calls than anything. I've heard more people say thank you for that than I have.
We've still got 4 or 5 that we haven't been able to, that mailed their payments in that we haven't been able to get in touch with yet. I've had, Latoya's been working on that and getting, and seeing what most of them just won't have it left as a credit to next month's bill. Because quite honestly, by the time we get it refunded, the next month's bill is gonna be due.
Yeah.
So most of them just will just credit it. But, they do have the corrected amount now, so we should be able to move forward and make some, positive changes to learn from and be able to catch when something like that happens, because it was not our error, but we just sent it round through, so we want to make sure that we can,
Sometimes things happen, it just can't happen.
but we want to try to catch them.
Right, I understand that, but sometimes it's beyond our control.
Beyond,
It's a learning lesson.
Oh, yeah, nothing else.
Now we know to check
Double check it.
twice, yes.
Yeah.
See, oh, that don't look right.
so, like I said, I gave you tonight, I gave you the shortened version, and you've got the full report, emailed to you. Like I said, just before the meeting, I got it emailed out, so you should have it.
Any questions for Loretta?
If none,
Good, thank you, to all the workers that went the extra mile.
There was a lot of people helping.
Yeah, all hands on deck. Entertain a motion to approve.
Mayor, make a motion to approve the monthly financial budget report as presented.
Got a motion, do we have a second?
I second.
Got a second, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Monthly report from city manager.
And Mayor and Commissioners, just to kind of echo what Loretta said, we're still sitting down with Symmetry to figure out where their error was created. The last I heard, they still were not sure of that. We do plan to bill them for the cost to bill the second bill for our customers. And we have sat down and looked at several areas that we can maybe see where something stands out. The hardest part about this was, if you remember last August, I think it was, we kind of warned everybody that gas prices were going up, and we were told up to 73%. So when these gas bills looked so high, we were like, well, this is what they were talking about. But, you know, in the long run, obviously it was a mistake. But to compliment our community, it's amazing how everybody addressed it. You know, they were billed twice what they should have been billed, and there were not ugly words. There were thank yous. There was a lot of cooperation with it, and we really appreciate that on our end. And the only other thing, too, I want to mention is just with the weather, the way it's been, is thanking all of our essential workers that have to be here when not everybody else does. Police and fire, public works, these guys that help us get through this. And we've had more snow in January of 2022 than I remember in a long time.
Long time,
I think there
man.
might be more on the way, but yeah, just to thank everybody for that.
Yeah, they
Yes,
said the
thank you.
morning
Mount
and
Pleasant
Thursday
was the
morning.
second in the state with the highest amount.
Yeah.
Cornwall was first and Mount Pleasant was second.
They're saying tomorrow night.
It did, I think Cornwall had 9 inches and Mount Pleasant had 7.
With what?
See how them calls coming in.
Mhm.
We
They're
got
coming.
flooding, we got rain.
Now
Well, I
we're
went to
ready.
Spring Hill today and I was amazed because there was no snow up there and I'm like, what the heck? Y'all didn't do something right down here. Y'all got too much snow. Okay.
All right, number 10, special reports from other departments or committees, wastewater liaison.
Everybody has in their packet the barge report. We continue to deal with the issues of the sewer trunk line rehabilitation. They were going to be here Tuesday of this week, or maybe even Monday. And this is about the third time we've rescheduled it. Now the latest is they'll be here Thursday. Once they get here, they're coming from Louisiana. They'll stay about 9 days and get it completed. But if we don't get something working pretty soon, we may have to pull their bond or use liquidated damages just to get the project finished. This is a project that they bid on, and it was a good bid for us because it's what we anticipated it costing. And I think what's happening is they're so busy with other projects that they're going to make so much more money on. Ours is falling by the wayside, but we're staying on top of it, and so is barge. So we're really watching that sewer truck line. And then, as you all know, the largest project, the wastewater treatment plant improvements, we're still searching for funds. On our agenda tonight is a commitment of our ARPA, $1.4 million to go to the sewer project. And we have follow-up meetings because all of this will need to be done with a special call meeting. And Corey and I will talk to you about that. So the bid that we have expires on the 5th of February. So we have to accept it one way or another before then, or it goes away. And everybody can walk away from the project, which we don't want to have happen because we're concerned it could get even worse and higher. So right now, it looks like the special call meeting may be February 1st, which is a Tuesday. If I'm not mistaken. What is your availability on that day, Eric? I know you sent me an email, but off the top of my head, I can't remember. February 1st?
Looks good right now. I'll have to check that email.
Yeah, I think you couldn't do it the 31st. Okay.
I don't see anything on my personal calendar, but I believe I put that was okay.
Okay. So, and we don't have real black and white rules on setting a special call, except that we would give reasonable notice in, the paper and post it and let everybody know about it, which we intend to do. Anything else you want to say on that, Corey? Once we know exactly when the date will be, we want to give as much notice as possible.
Right, we'll put it in the paper and post it on the website and also on the regular places about town. I think the mayor can call the special called meeting. I think that's how it goes, but.
The other thing that I'm concerned with is what needs to be on the agenda, because that's all we can talk about is what's on the agenda. And we obviously know the bid award would be on there, but if there's paperwork that has to be signed following that, we would need to have that also reviewed and discussed and voted on so that we've got everything done and we can move forward beyond that date. So,
That'll be 5 o'clock, right?
if everybody agrees with that time, it seems like 5 o'clock works better than 6. If we're just doing, it should be a very short meeting, but it's going to be Tuesday the 1st at 5 o'clock.
February 1st works for me.
Okay.
That was one of the dates that I sent to you. 5 o'clock is fine.
All right.
Robert, is the historical board not meeting that next month? 'Cause that's our meeting time too.
It's the 8th. Historical? That's
Historical
Monday.
board,
It's Monday. It's the 31st, isn't it?
no, we meet on the
Is that
first.
wrong?
We meet
Board of
on,
Zoning Appeals and the historic board.
It's on the first
It only meets now as needed.
Right.
Okay.
Change it in the bylaw. Yeah.
okay,
But you've got a meeting coming up, and it's on the 31st, right?
31st.
And so this is on the 1st.
okay.
He did talk to me about that.
First.
So right now, there's really nothing to do on that. I just want you to be aware of that.
Okay.
Mount Pleasant Gas.
And there's really no report on that. I think we've talked about gas enough.
Yeah, really. Okay. Number 11, new business. Resolution 2022-1, a resolution committing the ARP funds received by the city of Mount Pleasant to the wastewater treatment plant improvements.
And Mayor and Commissioners, I'll just point out what is in there is the actual dollar amount, which is $1,400,053.05.82. We have received half of that. So right now, we've committed verbally to USDA this money, as well as $250,000 out of our what we've created as a sewer capital account that we keep paying money into. And there is a remaining $120,000 of interest that we've paid that they owe back to us that we may come to you and just say, let them keep that. And that would put our commitment to them in the range of $1,700,000, $1,800,000. It just shows that we do have skin in the game and we're serious about getting this done. All of this will be coming in front of you at the that special call meeting, but we do want to have a record of where we're putting this initial American Rescue Plan money.
Any questions? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
Here I make a motion for resolution 2022-1 as presented.
Got a motion, do we have a second?
I second.
Got a second, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Feels weird doing 2022-1, doesn't it? B, Resolution 2022-2, a resolution authorizing the City of Mount Pleasant, Tennessee to participate in the Public Entity Partners Property Conservation Matching Grant Program.
And this is something that we always try to participate in, and it is a $4,000 grant that we've been granted. And then we have to match it with 4,000, and the project has to be a minimum of $8,000 project. I think I told you at the study session that this is the fencing and the new gate system between Public Works and Community Services building to give them a little bit more security. And basically, we'll submit receipts and get reimbursed $4,000.
It does look better down there, I'll have to say. Don't know if it's helped operations any, but it looks better. Any questions? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept resolution 2022-2.
Have a motion, do we have a second?
Okay.
Got a number of seconds, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. C, resolution 2022-3, a resolution establishing public health requirements for keeping hens near a residence or business.
And Mayor and Commissioners, I'm going to do my best to kind of tell you kind of where we are on this. If you remember, we had an ordinance in front of you last month that we deferred to do a little bit more homework and to determine what we thought would be appropriate citywide. But in the meantime, we have pending applications for people that want to have chickens, and we will continue to have that. And our code specifically says that if they're going to have these animals, they have to get permission from the city code administrative officer that has to determine it's not endangering public health. But we don't have a form and we don't have an application. So we are just trying to create that right now, not knowing what the long-term goal is with having hens within the city limits. So what you're looking at now doesn't change the rule of our existing code that says you can have them if they are approved. And this is, we did add specifically number 9 on this that says that if any hens are kept in a place or condition that become a nuisance or an annoyance to others of said hens, specifically we address the smell, the nuisance of the smell. You all should have that in your packets, right? So is that correct, Corey? That this does not address changing the ordinance and changing the code. It just provides a process to follow.
Yes, so really it just elaborates on the process that already exists. So this is confusing, but your current city law, your ordinance or your code, as Kate calls it, says that anybody can have chickens within 500 feet of a building if they come get a permit. And that permit comes through Robert's office. And then he has to make a decision in his sound judgment whether keeping of the animals under the certain circumstances would endanger the public health. So that's what the ordinance already says, but we don't have any really parameters on what would endanger the public health. So what we have before you today is a resolution that would define the requirements for keeping hens in a yard. And so it works in conjunction with the ordinance that's already in place.
Existing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, Mayor and fellow commissioners, that this is not needed. But I promise you down the road, it's gonna be a lot more work on Robert and Kate. Because now, I guess, we only have 4 or 5, but I mean, who knows, 6 months from now, you may have 60 people say, hey, I want chicken. And I think we're stepping into something with this reaction, and I'll leave it at that.
And I think what Commissioner Davis is addressing here is maybe suggesting that y'all change the ordinance, which is what y'all passed on one reading a couple months ago and then deferred indefinitely. So that's still out there, but it's deferred until somebody brings it back.
When I first, saw the 500 feet, I thought you had to have a minimum of 500 feet, but that's not the case. That's not the case.
Right.
And that's where I got confused at it.
That was part of the proposal, though, in the ordinance that y'all passed on first reading.
So we're gonna have hens, no roosters. And we're gonna have 4.
So,
What, oh,
the 4-H program has the Chick Chain program, and in fourth grade, a fourth grader at Mount Pleasant Elementary can get, I believe it is 12 chickens through that program, and they raise them from like the spring up until the county fair, and then have to bring them back. And then fifth grade can do the same thing, but they can get up to 25. So
But
I don't know. I don't know of anybody, inside the city limits that's done that, but,
But that's
I
what,
just felt like that should be thrown out there to you.
I
that's
would,
what I'm saying. I promise you, there are plenty of farmers or people, within probably 6 to 10 miles within the city of Mount Pleasant would be more than glad to sponsor people on this. And I'm
But I'm saying
telling you,
before
we're just fixing to make Robert and Kate's job a nightmare.
That's what I was bringing up before about the 4-H club, because I knew they did it, but they could only keep them for a certain length of time. Because, my granddaughter was going to do it when she stayed with me, but she moved back to Columbia with her mom. So I wasn't sure how long you could keep them.
so commissioners, I sent this to Kate. I don't think it's circulated in your packet, but every time we start talking about this, I go back and look at what other cities do. And I found one city that does a temporary permit for animals that are kept for 4-H projects.
Okay.
So it was it was in their ordinance. It wasn't in a resolution like this, but in their ordinance that addressed chickens or birds, I guess, they had a section that said you could have basically a temporary use permit to have the animals during the 4-H project. I can't remember if it has had a set amount, a number on there of how many animals, but that's something that I think y'all could incorporate into the bigger ordinance to allow that, the one that's deferred. Or, we could maybe find a way to include that in this resolution, but I really think it probably belongs in the ordinance.
Well, I do know
too.
with the 4-H, it's basically the same thing. They come down to inspect the coop that you got in the fenced-in place and to make sure that everything is satisfactory.
Yeah.
In order for your child to even be able to do that.
So I could, if that's something that y'all are interested in, and we can resend that language out, and y'all can consider it for the ordinance that's deferred, if that would be helpful.
And it's just something I know, Robert has the same concern I do, is how we police that. Police is not the right word maybe, but
Can you
Well,
go in
it's close.
anybody's yard at any time?
no.
I know with the 4-H club, actually 4-H police it, because they you have to go by, it's just like when you adopt the horses. You got to go by these strict guidelines.
Mhm.
And they got to keep a journal, and then you got a leader that comes down and makes sure, because you get your badge and stuff for us. They come down and they do that. And like I said, I don't know about the 4-H club because I researched it for my granddaughter. But
I would think you would have to show proof of participation in the program before you could get the
And you gotta
temporary
have
permit.
Policing it.
yeah, and you still
Yeah, so how
and
do you
that's
do
back
that?
to what Mr. Davis was saying. Your yard has also got got to at least have an acre lot.
That's not in our.
That's
That's not in ours.
I mean, that's what the
Yeah.
4-H club I'm saying when they
Okay.
come down.
Okay.
But that's not in ours.
Most of them are not.
so how do you do the people that already say they got more than 4 hens already?
According to this, they wouldn't be able to keep them.
So they don't have permits for the chickens
So if
that
they
are
got
there.
permits already, they godfather in.
Right,
There's
but if
very
they
few
don't,
permits that
yeah.
we're aware of.
Mhm.
So if they had more than 4 hens and they got a permit and they go get 6 hens, how y'all gonna know? Y'all just gonna walk on their property and say, hey, I heard you got 6 hens?
No,
We have sent letters saying that people had to get rid of
So how,
them.
this is what I'm going back to your question.
Yeah.
How will you be able
How you
to,
gonna know
You're
that?
how you gonna know
you're
that?
not.
That's just,
Difficult at best, yeah.
It's just gonna present Robert and Kate a nightmare, unless they can get Philip on board. Chief, they might get you on board with it.
I see the chief of police went to the back of the room when this came up.
So I think number 10 does give the the city code administrative office the ability to go on premises. But I know that doesn't solve the problem, but
They typically aren't going on to people's
Yeah.
property.
Yeah, it's
but-
fine, yeah.
The only way I would, if there was anything in effect for parameters set, and that's included in the ordinance, I mean, Corey has discussed this, I would handle it like any other code violation. The only way I would even really check a property is if I got a complaint. Then that would give me the ability, based off resolution, to at least inquire with the owner to that. That's the same way I do with code violation. If I get a complaint, I go address it.
Well, I've had a phone call or two about people that has moved to Mount Pleasant, and they said they didn't realize they had to get a permit to keep their chickens. So what do you do in that situation? I mean, have we put the word out there, hey, you gotta have a permit to get chickens?
There sure was a lot of activity on social media last month.
That's what I'm saying. Last month it was, but I'm just saying we brought this up. People that's already had their chickens and didn't know there was supposed to be a permit. How do you go back and say, well, you're not Godfather in just because they don't have a permit?
That's a big part of the problem.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So how can you do
So I can
that?
tell you in my almost 6 years, there's probably only been like 4 or 5 that I've given permission to, and I've turned down probably 3 or 4. But there's more than 4 or 5 people with chickens.
Right.
I think this ordinance has been in place since 1984.
Yeah, it's been around for a long
But
time.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
Chloe,
We don't
if you
have
move
any-
to a town, you say, oh, let me see what the ordinance is. No.
But
you
there
know?
wasn't a permit created, and we don't have records of anyone that got permits. I can only say what's happened since
Right.
I've been here, and so I don't know. I think, and is it a start over for everybody that wants to continue to have chickens? Is that if they don't have a permit, they don't have a permit.
I guess like the ordinance, when it first put, 500, it should have put 500 or more. Instead of a minimum 500 feet.
Yeah.
Well, as I've said from day one, I don't even want to talk about this. I'm just being real honest about it.
And you have to ask yourself, and you have to be honest to yourself.
And that's why I'm
Would
being
you
real
want-
honest.
Would you want it in your backyard?
I don't know.
But when they put,
But
when they-
here's my point. Is I don't want to do anything whatsoever to put Robert and Kate in the position they're getting ready to be put in, because they are going to be put in a very subjective role
That's what I'm
where
talking
they can make a call, period. And that's not a position we need people in my opinion. Number 2, and it's probably more number 1 than it is number 2 for me, is that you've got 4-H that is in our school system, and we all try to support the schools. I know I do in a big way because of how important they are to our community and where we're going. And we're going to be butting heads with them if we do this. As it is written today, we are going to be butting heads and telling a school system that we don't want this. And I just can't, I'm sorry, but that school system that we got is a jewel. It's the cherry on top. And we're going to be going just right head to head with them, telling them they can't do it.
But
And
we
Mr.
may not
White,
be. We may not be.
when they incorporate Scottsmere Road into city limits, a lot of people, they had chickens and hogs at that time, and because they were being put in city limits, they were allowed to keep them because, and I don't think nobody did now, because I went up there through their check-in just to make sure, and I think most of them have either died out or there may be one down there up Price and Lane that's got chickens, but I don't think most of them, it's like down have, don't have them anymore. But I mean, I just think it's a major issue.
I just think, people have chickens and, well, like down the street from me, they got chickens, but they're homeschooled, and that's how they get their eggs and help feed their children, it's.
I think at the very least, we need to look at what the deferred resolution looked like with the wording in it, allowing it for the 4-H. At the very least. I think we
I'll
need
go
to
back
do.
and say it again, I believe in personal freedoms. If somebody has this land, and they have enough land where they can put some coops on their property, I feel like they should be able to do it, because they purchased the property.
What's considered enough land?
That it's enough that you can keep it clean and
And I
already
think
in
that's
my
something
house.
maybe that's what we dive into is that, but also on that, with that personal freedom comes personal responsibility.
That's
If
what
my
I'm
chickens
saying.
are running all over the place, then I'm not being responsible. If my chickens
Sorry.
are dancing, then it's up, I'm not being
I
responsible.
don't think we've
So
got
then
that,
you forfeit your right to have.
we don't have that problem though, with them running all over the place.
Yes,
We
we
have
We do
had,
over there,
we
we do
have
over there on
had,
Locust.
we've had,
in certain
we had them
places.
flying all over the high school.
Correctly.
Yeah, Locust, you better not drive down through that fast, you better see park.
Those are somebody that was denied the chicken.
I don't know.
To the commission, this is not something that I chased, and I know I've known it's in the code. It's in every municipal code since 1984, because it was all written the same way. But I've only received complaints. That's the only time I've ever responded to chickens. That's the only time I want to deal with chickens, is when I've received complaints, and they have been spotted running across the road in certain locations. They've been the areas I've been, the place is pretty uncanny.
Maybe we just need to look at that.
I'm again totally. Mike just made a comment in my ear that we need to look at this again. I'm in total agreement. I just don't, I think that we're putting two people in a tough position that you're not going to win.
We
All
are.
right, number one. Number two, I don't want to go head to head and butt heads with a school system that's doing everything they can every day to change the lives of all those kids over there.
And that gives them something to do, something to look forward to.
And I just think that we are going, and then it's going to put you in being in a very subjective place. Okay. You're going to be the one that says yes or no.
Robert's gonna be.
Right.
Well, then there you go. Pass the buck.
Code administrator. But
There's a lot of things that
problem
roll
right now-
downhill.
The problem right now is we have probably 3 to 4 pending applications, and we don't have a way to address their
I'd
applications.
rather them remain pending until we can all satisfy ourselves on what we're doing.
Because I promise you, there'll be more coming.
Yep, I have to agree with you there.
And then somebody's gonna say, well, I didn't know, and you gave them permission, and I didn't get it, and I had mine, so and so.
Do you have a recommendation, Corey, on next step?
Yeah, do you have, I mean, that's what we pay you for.
Whoa.
Well, full transparency, my recommendation is the resolution that's in front of you. Because right now, we have these pending applications and we don't have a way to address them other than Robert saying this looks fine, and so you get them, or this doesn't look fine.
Based on the criteria.
Based on the criteria. And so this gives a more, a less subjective criteria.
But can't we still put this off, not table it, but can't we,
Yes, but I mean,
I realize we didn't put it off.
right. I think that y'all should get a holistic approach of exactly what you want. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that. I think that ideally an ordinance that includes 4-H language, and then a resolution that governs property bigger than whatever acreage y'all decide is the perfect way to address it. But we need some sort of criteria, say if you can have chickens if this, because right now it just says
But
you can have chickens.
I understand that, Corey, but if we pass this as it is written tonight,
Mm-hmm.
that means between now and whenever we decide to do something else, they can be flooded
But
with people wanting,
they're already flooded.
well, they may be flooded more.
Well, I think that unless y'all put some sort of hold on it, which I don't, like a moratorium on chickens, then maybe that's up. Maybe that's what you're suggesting. I've never looked into that issue, but right now the only thing that we have is the top part of the resolution, that's section 10-102 of the municipal code. So that's the criteria we have right now.
Let me ask you this, what happens if, I mean, I don't know what everybody's thoughts are, but what if a motion is not made, what happens?
When it goes away.
Dies.
Yes, yeah, that's for lack of emotion. I guess it's the phrase I've always heard, but
But then it can come back, all right?
yeah, it can always come back. I
Yeah.
mean, you can,
And then this is chickens, we also had to complain about goats that I ain't never seen, but
I mean, if
Well-
nothing is done tonight or whatever, if nobody, I don't know what people are, what the other commissioners would do. But in the meantime, can another motion be made that no pending permits can be issued until the commission decides exactly what's going to take place?
I guess what a moratorium is, I guess, but we still have some that are, we could say no new ones, but there
That's
are
what I'm-
some that are already,
Right, but I'm just saying
Pending.
pending or whatever.
I don't know the answer to that. I would say we could stop new applications
that's what I was
right
gonna say,
now
can we
but
not say
not-
we're not
we have to
taking
make a
applications
decision
at this time?
on the ones that are pending.
But I mean, not the pending ones, but I mean, if anybody else come forward, can we say we're just not taking applications at this time?
How do you do that?
And that means they keep their chickens? They're not taking applications?
Because we're not doing anything.
I mean, if they haven't already come forth and with all the stuff that's been out there, then they come along 4 months, I mean,
But-
2 months later, we're not taking applications.
But I'm gonna tell you the sad part about this. We have wasted so much time on these chickens when we have so much trouble with our sewer system. It's unreal.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, we got more important business.
So our next meeting is February 15th. So Corey, if there was no action taken on this, it dies as a resolution and we just maybe, I don't know, get more feedback?
Yeah, well, we just let it die, and then we can all maybe come up with something, because, we ain't gonna get no answer tonight. Ain't
No.
nobody gonna agree.
It's just like, in the very beginning, I guess I think a lot of things, it ain't right. It's just like I thought about the 500 feet. I thought it was,
The size of the property.
right, and it's not,
No, it's 500 feet.
or less.
Yes. We're like,
And I apologize for that.
No, I don't have any good answers.
For not knowing that.
Because you think about the people that already have them, and that's what they're, that become children's pets, or they got chickens that they feed their family on. Then all of a sudden you come up with a resolution in the middle of all of this.
Well, I mean, as far as that goes, they can keep them. They'll be just like, I guess this business that wanted a house, they'll just be non-conforming.
y'all's favorite word.
No.
Hey, I learned that from Kate.
I had rather see us do something that could be conforming,
Right.
that people
Yeah.
within the community can
Oh, I
live
do.
with.
Live with, right.
I do too, Mayor. I
Is
really
there anybody
do.
here that wants to speak on the matter?
Oh, yeah, I know two that do.
Okay. I didn't know if anybody had signed up yet.
But let us get through this first, if you don't mind, and I'll let you say what you want, but I just,
Didn't mean to give you a headache.
I came in here with it over this one thing.
These chickens.
I've been thinking about it since last Thursday.
I can do a little chicken dance in here too.
Yeah. I just think that my biggest concern right now, again, is two people within the community are going to be burdened with a lot, and it's coming. And number two is, again, that we're going to be butting heads with the school system over the 4-H, and I just think that we need, as I said before, that we need to really put a lot of thought in this before we just, and I understand your point, Corey, because Kate said it's got to, Corey want it back because it's too subjective.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I feel like it's still too subjective. That's just me. Okay, I'm trying to think as an ordinary citizen, where you're gonna walk in and they're gonna make this application and one or two people can say yes or no, and nobody else can say a word. And then it becomes, well, it's, he said, she said. Although the ordinance or the resolution is written the way it is, and I think it spells it out pretty cleanly and fairly, but I still just think that we're putting too much burden on two people, and the other party is running headstrong with 4-H.
We just
So-
need some guidance on what to do. Right now.
Get us another resolution with it written in there about 4-H.
Another
And that-
ordinance.
Well, it says this one's a resolution.
That's because we need to change the ordinance. We only did the resolution in front of you tonight is because we have pending applications, but we don't have an application or a permit process,
Okay, so you can go through ordinance, it's 2 months at best.
which is still sitting at second reading, correct?
Yes, it's deferred indefinitely.
But I mean, that's like y'all. I mean, if it come down to it with the school system, y'all would probably fall in that same category. I'm just guessing. I don't know.
Eric, you got a question?
Yeah, so is there a way we can amend the ordinance without writing a totally new one?
I think it's better to just have something very clear, Eric, because this is
Ordinance is
going,
on the agenda.
this is going to come up, and when it does, we better be very clear in how this thing is written.
So,
Yeah,
and to add to that, so the ordinance that y'all had before, it's what, Title
10,
10? So
Yeah.
we weren't proposing to change all of Title 10. There's a bunch of subsections within that. I think we were just trying to change one like subsection. So it doesn't address the whole thing. It is just one part of it. But yes, we could look at every single.
But if we're gonna make a
Subsection.
change, I think we just need to hold off and make the change altogether.
I'm with you. Because I'm just like you, Mike. We got a lot bigger issues
Right.
pending in this community than,
The chickens.
and I hate to bring it up, but I know somebody sitting in here that's got a hog.
Yes, I do.
Where
That
is,
is not a hog,
What-
that is
That's
a.
a
well, you call it what you want
That's
to.
a pot belly baby.
Okay. Okay. Where does that fall in all this?
Well, wherever y'all want it to fall. We had
See,
a
there's
section-
the other.
we had
And there are
the
such things as a house pet.
draft
Yeah,
the draft
absolutely
said
they
pigs
are.
could live inside. If you had like a special
I mean,
pig that lived in the house, we
I mean, if it was out in,
farm pig that she.
right, that's
yeah.
Yeah.
what I'm saying. If it was out in his yard making a big, mud, whatever.
Making a
you know,
mess or whatever.
See, they don't, but I'm saying
I mean,
it's
they don't even
a
walk in the
house pet.
mud.
It's a house pet.
Yeah, they are.
So, you know, I mean, something like that can
And that
be
was
put in there.
that was in the draft. It was accepted. It was you can't have pigs outside, but we have these special inside pigs. You can have them.
So I'm at the will of the commission because y'all know where I am with it.
You know where I am, or in fellow commissioners. So I guess, Mayor, if you, I guess,
So do y'all want to defer it and combine it with a revised ordinance?
I think that's the way we need to start.
yes,
I think that's where, because I want to say, I want it to be something that everybody up here can agree on, and I want it to be something that the community can agree with.
Right.
So
Okay?
we're deferring this. Your motion to
Well, I'm
defer
gonna
this.
get a motion to
Okay.
defer it in just a second.
All right. All right.
You understand we're deferring it for right now. Anything y'all want to say?
I would like to add just some things for y'all to think on while you're.
Please come
deciding.
forward and state your name. You got 3 minutes.
All right. I am Ashton Andrews. We live on 407 Washington Avenue down here in Mount Pleasant. And first off, I want to say thank you for letting us come up here and speak with y'all. I brought pictures of our coop, our children with our chickens, and things that they can learn from them as we do. We are not part of 4-H right now. As you can see, I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old. We train them to keep the animals, clean up after the animals, how to treat the smell. Mainly with chickens, it is an ammonia smell, and I'm sorry, I'm nervous, so my voice is shaky. But we get PDZ that is mainly for horses, but it helps with their respiratory. It also eats the ammonia smell. It acts like a kitty litter for chickens. So we do that to keep our coop clean. We have linoleum floors, so it's easy to scrape up. Metal side, so in the summertime, fall time, you can go out there, hose it out, clean up your mess. We shovel it out and put it in paper bags, so when it goes to the dump, it can totally degrade by itself. Nothing needed to take care of it, and it also helps keep stink down out of the neighborhood, so nobody is having to smell it, decompose, everything else. Chickens are not meat eaters. So as they're eating grains and stuff. But it's not like with dogs, they're meat eaters. Their food only has meat in it, so it's quite a bit stinkier than chickens. And also, as far as I know, y'all mentioned no roosters. With the kids, we'll incubate the eggs. As you incubate them, you can watch them develop from a tiny little dot with blood vessels to a body that's moving, that's kicking. Right before they get ready to hatch, you can hear them peeping inside their shells. They'll work their way around, and then you hatch. We let our kids watch this because it's a fun way. We learn as the chickens grow, different breeds, egg colors, sizes, what their purpose is, because not everybody's so excited about chickens, but we are. And they all have a different purpose. They're not all just for eggs. They're not all just for meat. They're all very different. But go back to the roosters. Occasionally you end up with one when you're hatching them out. A rooster's crow decibel is no higher than a dog's bark. You can also get rooster crow collars that goes around their throat. For a rooster crow, it has to puff up an air pocket in there to get that loud crow. So you put a collar on it, they can't puff that up, they can't crow loud. It gurgles it, and then it's just, there's not hardly one there.
Poor old rooster.
A gurgling rooster. And with that being said, I understand why people would not want roosters in town, but they also don't bark after dark. As soon as the sun goes down, they go put themselves in their house. They go sleep. If they are hollering after dark, it is because something is in there to eat them.
Yeah, but they start early in the morning.
About 6 o'clock. Yeah, but I'm not necessarily here to talk about roosters, but I just want to keep you informed type deal so that y'all can think on it as you go and you make decisions. You know, you can keep your chickens' wings clipped so that they can't, like we have almost an acre yard. I keep my girls' one wing clipped so that nobody can fly over. We keep rocks down around the base of our fence so nobody can go under. We don't have a problem with our girl. I go out there and holler and they all come running. They want snacks, you know, or you can keep them in the coop. They're happy in there. You can go out there, I pick them up. The babies pick them up. We all treat it. And most people don't want to smell it. They want to keep them as pets because they love them. You know, if you don't want chickens, you're not going to get chickens. If you don't want a dog, you're not going to get a dog because you don't want to smell it. You don't have to clean up after it. But if you love chickens, you want them to have a good life. So you try to clean up after them. You try to come up with ways to keep them clean, happy, and healthy. And I'm trying to think what
I
else.
shouldn't say this. I love chicken more than I do anything. But I tell you what, a chicken will eat its own poop.
If they're kept in a very small confined area, they will if they absolutely have to, but they're not crazy for it, I can assure you. But during the time that y'all are trying to make decisions, if y'all have questions, I would like for y'all to feel free to call me if you have questions about how they act or what they do or anything in between that, because I do love our chickens and our kids love our chickens. They are their babies. They learn. Yes, you have snuggle buds. And as we raise them, they sell them. You know, we try to keep a certain amount at home that keeps us in eggs, but otherwise we grow them, we sell them. People have come from 3 hours away to buy specific fluffy little silkies, or all different breeds, because if you can't find them close by, you can't find them close by. So I've had people come from Alabama, Huntsville, Murfreesboro, Fayetteville, you name it, in all different directions just to buy chickens. And when they
tax money off of it?
well, I do send them uptown. I do send them uptown. They'll ask, what are some things that we can do while we're over here? Where are some places to go? And I'm always pointing them in the directions of our restaurants in our town, all the little shops uptown, other places that are close by. An average, you can buying hatching eggs if you want specific breeds isn't overly cheap. By the time the kids hatch them and raise them, a lot of times a newly hatched chick would sell for about $3. Once you spend your fuel to go get it and you buy the hatching eggs for a dozen, can be anywhere from $10 to $50. The kids, once they sell them, once they get to about 4 months old is the peak time to sell them because they start laying at 6 months or to a year, depending on the breed. And you
Sorry,
go
but I'm gonna have to wrap you up. That buzzer that went off was 4 minutes.
Oh, sorry. They sell for about $20 at that point. Thank you.
Thank you. Robert, anything?
No, she pretty well, said everything that needed to be said.
Good deal. All right, entertain a motion to defer resolution.
2022-3
You got it.
To February,
to,
or are we doing it?
let's just talk about him
Okay,
first.
all right.
Get us
Deferred
a,
indefinitely.
February meeting is the earliest possible day it can be because it's on the 15th. It's 4 weeks from today.
And I think,
then let's get us something to look at pretty quick if you want to try to do it in February.
Okay, I'm just
we-
trying to figure out, I know y'all want to have them together, so are we bringing back the other one, or are you just deferring this one until y'all make that decision a
Yes.
different day?
yes, until, That's what-
I'm gonna let you make the motion.
I'd just like to make the motion to defer this until we decide exactly what we're gonna do.
Okay,
All right, so
I have a motion. Do we have a second?
And that's on resolution 2022-3.
Bingo. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
We have a second. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. That's all we've got. Anything else, anybody?
We're in full blown with the census.
Cool.
Postcards should be going out this week. I think the snow kind of slowed us down a little bit on that, but
Yeah,
we're
did everybody.
people in the lobby taking numbers, and our numbers look good, and we're meeting on it on a regular basis. We all meet tomorrow morning on it as well.
Good. Thank y'all for that. I noticed, Philip, I've noticed 2 fire officers down here. Thank you.
default for motion for delinquent taxes is coming up this month,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, it looks like we better watch out. Mr. Hardison may be moving up the ladder.
All right, entertain a motion to adjourn.
That's easy. I'll make the
You
motion.
do that
And
one,
I second
and
it.
it's a quick one. All those in favor, aye. We're out of here. Thank y'all for
Thank
coming.
you for coming.
Ah.